All right. Hey, 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 hey. How y'all doing? Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody is feeling good. Hope everybody is at least where I am right now. I hope you are inside, that you have all of the things that you need. If you're in the line of these storms that are going on right now, do the right thing, do the smart thing, and be safe. Pay attention to your weather. Pay attention to your local weather so that you know what you have to do to keep you and you and your family safe. So do that. We in here. 2024. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And today we are talking about speaking truth. Speaking truth. Speaking truth or staying silent. It's Talk It Out Tuesday. Talk It Out Tuesday with Miss Tori and Miss Tonya. I'm very, very excited to have this conversation because so many people are out here and they're talking about everything. Cat Williams has set it off. Cat Williams has said so much and everybody has so much to say. And I want us to go ahead and get into the conversation. So to get into the conversation, you know what we got to do? We got to do this really quick. We got to do some breath work. Let's do it. Let's do it. And then we're going to talk. What I want you to do is inhale to the count of 4. And we're going to hold it for a few seconds. And then we're going to exhale. And we'll hold that for a few seconds. And we'll repeat that a few times. Now, you can close your eyes if you're in a place that you can do that. I don't want you to do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're actually sitting at the desk. If you got your head pods on and you're taking a listen, we'll vibrate with us and listen. But if you can close your eyes, close your eyes. You want to take it a step further, put your hands over your heart and feel that you are alive. That's you. Let's get into it. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. One more time. Let's inhale. Hold it a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. Doesn't that feel great? It feels good. It's noontime. Maybe a lot of you are at lunch. And I hope that little bit of breath work has helped you out. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, my good people. Today we are having these conversations. We're talking about speaking truth or staying silent. A lot of people are having conversations out loud. The internet has really made us feel that we could do that, and many people are doing that. 2024 is saying something. Are we caught up in the whole gossip of things, or are we taking notes and learning lessons to become better people? We're going to talk about it. It's Talk It Out Tuesday with Tori and Miss Tonya. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I'm going to bring Tori on in here. Tori, how you feeling?
What it do, what it do, what it do.
Everything lovely. Everything lovely. Go ahead and talk to the people.
Listen,
Give us a little truthful opening on your side of things.
truthful opening on in regards to the interview.
Girl, I'm just talking. Say whatever you need to say.
Well, I'll just I will say this. I haven't watched the full interview. I've just been seeing clips here and there. But
Wait a minute. You
yeah,
haven't, hold on. You know how long ago that interview came out? You haven't watched the whole interview yet, Tori.
no,
What have you been doing?
I just been watching the clips. No, I'm not gonna watch an interview. It's but almost 3 hours. No, I'm not doing it.
Well, hey,
I'm not doing it, Tanya. No, I just watched the clip. So I'm be honest, I didn't sit and watch the interview. I have not. I just been watching the clips. And what I gathered from the clips is I'm looking at some of the quotes that because I came across a post on social media, and they had like some of the one liner quotes that came from the interview, and I was impressed by the quotes. And then I also noticed that a lot of the stuff based on the clips that I've seen, Kat was actually telling the truth, because from the internet, you know how the internet will pull receipts,
Yeah.
and the receipts that have been pulled that I have seen,
Hmm.
he has been being truthful. And I think it's important, if you're going to speak out, to be truthful, because the truth will never change. So if you're truthful in what you're saying, then speak your truth. And like I said, when the receipts are coming out and it's really confirming what he said is the truth. And even I came across a live that Ice Cube did. And Ice Cube basically said he was telling truth. He had to just clarify something that Cat made a statement about a scene, and he said, "Let me clarify that there was no scene that he referred to, but everything else he pretty much said he was telling the truth." So I feel like if you're gonna speak out, just make sure you speak the truth. That's what's up.
Okay. Well, yeah, I see how people rolling on in here. You see the people coming on in here for this conversation.
What's up, Kimberly? Good day from LA. LA is in the house.
Oh, yeah. All right.
What up, Kelly? Kelly? He says, up, peeps. What's up,
Mr.
Kelly?
Mr. Pettyville. All right, all right, all right.
Tynico, what's up, girl? Tynico in the building. That's what's up. Y'all come on in. I'm curious to know you guys' thoughts. But like I said, Tanya, I didn't watch the interview, and I didn't
Okay.
really have a desire to watch it. No. So no, I haven't watched it. I
All
just
right.
been
What's up, friend?
what's up, friend? Sandy. Oh, San Diego was in the house. That's what I'm talking about.
All
We
right.
all
We
we
got
what?
to,
We nationwide, international.
we all across these here states on the west side. They say the
I
west side is the best side. I don't know. I don't know if that's true, Tori.
I love it though. I
I
haven't
don't
been
know
to
if that's
I've
true.
never been to the West Coast. I would love to visit the West Coast. I hadn't been there.
You got to. You got to get on, go ahead and get on a plane and fly on over there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But listen, I watched it. I
Mhm.
watched it. Uh, I had to watch it in a couple of parts because for me, I kept trying to watch it at like at the end of the day when it's like, you know, almost time for me to go to bed. And girl, I go to bed early. I'm up there trying to watch Cat, and the next thing I know, boom,
You
knock out. I
see?
don't I don't even know where I left off at. I literally had to watch it like 3 or 4 different times only because I kept, you know, not watching at the
Yeah.
best of times. But um, you know, everybody out here, we're talking about speaking truth versus staying silent. And the reason why we put versus staying silent is because everybody doesn't always feel that it's necessary to come out and say anything. Some people want to remain silent. They do.
Mhm.
And we got a quote here today, noontime quote. Tori, go ahead and let the people know a little something.
The quote reads, "A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is putting on its shoes." Mark Twain. And I was telling Tanya, this quote has been all over in the social media streets. And that's the first time that I've seen the author of the quote.
Really?
People will put quotes out there and they do not give credit to where the quote originates. And that was one of the things that was one of my takeaways, even though I did not watch the full interview. That was one of my takeaways from Cat. He was saying people were stealing jokes and they wasn't giving credit. They was taking the joke as if it was their own. And me personally, I'm a person of integrity. I can't, if I put a quote out there on social media, I have to say where it came from. I don't feel comfortable saying that I wrote something that I did not write.
Mm-hmm.
But some people are so comfortable with doing that. So that was one of my takeaways. Even though like I said, I didn't watch the full interview, but that was one of my takeaways. And the reason why that was one of my takeaways, because I was looking at the clips, and based on the clips that they were taking, you know how the internet is. The
Mm-hmm.
internet got receipts, and they're backing up what Cat's saying. So maybe I'll look at the interview, but I just really didn't have desire to watch
Okay.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, you
Mhm.
know, whether or not, let's step away a minute from whether or not it will be of our opinion of whether or not we feel like he's telling the truth, whether we feel like he's telling the truth, the whole truth, parts truth, whatever it is that you may feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we step outside of just that truth a little bit, what I do want to say is that I found it incredibly entertaining. And
Oh
by
yeah.
that, I mean, this man is an excellent storyteller. For me, it's just like genius the way he set it up and the way that he could get certain jokes off. Like, I don't know if some of what he was saying was to set up, set this whole thing up, but I think it was genius. I think he did his job to just come out here and to be the topic of conversation. Do you remember the date? I can't remember the date that the video came out. Maybe it's been a week or so now, or at least close to that, and people are
Probably
still
like,
talking up.
I think it's been like, because my son been keeping up with it, and I think yesterday he told me it was like 5 or 6 days ago. So we're right at
So
a week.
almost a week.
Yeah,
But
almost a
you
week.
know how fast the internet goes on to the next subject, and they are still talking about it. And I mean, everyone is talking about it. If you look at the fact that Ankh on Club Shay Shay,
Mm-hmm.
that particular podcast got over, what was it? Was it 10 million or close to 10 million views in less
Oh
than
no, ma'am.
20?
It's up to probably about 40 now.
No, now I'm talking
Oh,
about initially.
initially.
Right,
Oh
initially it got
yeah.
up to about 10 million views within
Mhm.
24 hours.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that is like groundbreaking. And all of the clips that, if you're going to be a content creator, one of the smartest things that you can do is repurpose your content. And so, they're putting clips out. Like you said, there's so many different bites. Like he gave sound bites and certain clips, and those are getting millions of hits. So just look at everything that's coming from that. So you can't have a conversation right now if you're out here in these internet streets and you don't know what's going on with Cat Williams. Like he just came in and shook everything up. Now,
Mhm.
take a breath. Let me take a breath. Within all of that,
Mhm.
what I want to know and what I'd like for us to talk about and for our people out here so you guys start getting in the chat. Do you feel like it was necessary for him to put that out here?
See.
That's what I want to know because and that just say I mean because he was silent for a while and
Mhm.
where what I'm getting ready to get into is because there's been so many topics of conversation that we have been having within the last year. Especially, we've gone through so many celebrity stories of people telling truths, people saying it's not true. This one's suing this one. We went from Will and Jada. We went, what else has come out? Just like a whole lot of stories where people are telling things. Kevin
Mhm.
Hart has something out right now where he is in it with Tasha K, with one of his former assistants. She's saying what she wants to say. We've got what's the guy? Christian Keys. He's come out
Mhm.
with the Men Too and speaking his piece, speaking his truth, and at a time when he was silent. So everybody's saying, okay, well, these things have been happening. Why are you telling these stories now? So I want to know, I want us to talk about
Mhm.
how important do we feel it is to speak our truth, or can we stay silent?
Mm. That's interesting. When you speaking the truth, that was one of my questions that you mentioned. Like, why now? Why are we not talking about things when it's happening? Why are we waiting years? That was one of my questions. But I'm one of those people that I'm one of those people that I'll stay silent. I can know what you said, I can know what you did, but I'm gonna say I'm not gonna address it. That's just how I operate. Unless it's absolutely necessary, it's in my face that I have to. But for the most part, I'm one of those people I'm gonna stay silent. And there's some things like if some time passed, I'm like, what why bring it up now?
Hmm.
Why? I don't
Right.
understand. But that was one of my questions, like why now? But sometimes I feel as though sometimes when you are a person with um honesty and integrity and you see stuff that's not right, a lot of times I know, and I'm looking and like I said, I didn't see the full interview, but sometimes when you're an honest person and you're a person of integrity, sometimes you it's hard for you to just sit back and just watch people, like when you actually know that person and you sit back and they are promoting a certain image on, especially nowadays with social media, you're promoting a certain image on social media, something that you're completely not. Sometimes it's hard to just sit back when you know the truth. And sometimes that's probably why some are speaking. And with you just get tired because it seemed
Hmm.
like, because I know I've said this so many times. I'm like, why does it seem like the people that don't have integrity, why it seem like they so successful or it seem like they winning? And those of us that have integrity, it seems like we losing, but that ain't even the case. It's just like when you are a believer like I am, you like, God, come on now. I know you see them, right?
Hmm.
But it just seemed like the ones that have no integrity seem like those, it just appears that way with the natural eye. It just seems like they're winning. And I think that's why sometimes people feel like I'm tired. I'm tired. So I'm just gonna start talking.
Right.
So I mean that's just my take on, that's how I look at it. You just get tired sometimes. But even though no matter how tired I get, I still I choose silence. And even the latter part of 2023, there were and this is just my part of being transparent. 2023, there were some things that I was mishandled and mistreated in ways. And but before 2023 came to an end, there were several people that came to me and they apologized. So sometimes the silence, it feel like it takes a long time, but I think it's worth the wait. And sometimes, like I said, you speak on it if it's necessary, if it's in your face and you have to say something. But me, I just stay silent and I just pray about it. And things, it may seem like it's a long time, but
Okay.
it happens.
Well, here's the thing.
Mhm.
I heard you mention it, and like we hear this all the time, and particularly when it comes to, uh, it depends on what we're sharing our truth about.
Mhm.
People might have different feelings about it, you
Mhm.
know, as it relates to certain traumas and certain abuse in workspace or in any type of relationship or anything of that nature. A lot of the times I feel like people don't initially come out and talk about it because they're not in a space where they can talk about it.
Mhm.
Their head is not there. People have to deal with their own emotions and their own feelings before they're able to discuss it. A lot of the times, they really
Right.
are. And then I want to ask this question because, you say, well, I stay silent. And I'm kind of that way myself. A lot of the times I will choose to stay silent because I often feel like, well, you know what? Not only do I know this truth, but the other party knows this truth as well, you know?
Mhm.
So they know they're out here and they know that they're misrepresenting. So how much does that mean to me? Like, how much does it mean to me to feel like, okay, well, I'm telling the truth? And then also, like I said, it also depends on the particular incident, because
Mhm.
some things aren't as traumatizing as others as it relates to a truth. I mean, you could be into some petty wars, you
Mhm.
really could
Mhm.
be. But you have to ask yourself in certain cases, and I feel like there are certain things where silence might be the best thing, where the truth may not make things better.
Oh
I
yeah,
I
definitely.
really do. And there are a number of things that could probably be that way. I said, particularly when it comes to uh, certain traumas, certain domestic and sexual violence type of traumas. People aren't able to handle that the way that we feel like we would. It's easy to say what you could do, what you would do, that you would say something. I often hear people say, well, you have to tell because you've got to stop them from harming someone else. And, you know, uh, There is a truth in that. So that too is a truth, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
everybody doesn't have that bravery.
No. Latisse says truth. Absolutely.
So let me ask you guys out here. Maybe you can help us out a little bit, and we can just dig a little bit deeper. But what are some things, or what are some situations? It doesn't necessarily have to be a personal situation for you, but something that you could think of where you feel like a truth might not make the situation better. Like the silence might be better. Or are there some things that we feel that way? Because clearly, like you say, there's some things that you know in your mind, and I don't want you to bring those out because you chose to be silent about them for a reason. And I, myself as well, there are things that I will probably never bring up. I
Mm-hmm.
don't see the need to. And for me, once I have become well with myself and found peace within myself and healing within myself, I just don't find it necessary to share it. And for the longest time, I felt like, well, am I afraid to share this? Because I am in a place of healing. Like I'm not hurt or harmed by it. I can admit it to myself. In fact, I was doing some little reorganizing and going through a few things, going through some files, and I ended up going through some of my older diaries and just reading some of the things that I had written like many years ago, some of them decades ago, and just seeing where I was, where my headspace was. And I came across something that was actually very traumatic for me, and I wrote about it. And the important thing about having written about it is that was my first effort to get it out,
Mm.
right? And so now, all of these decades later, as I read it and I see how incredibly young and how incredibly vulnerable I was, I see how traumatized I was, and to just keep going and to just keep going through my life, I did that. And I just kind of had a conversation with myself, and I was like, you know what? I'm proud that you made it through that because that was really difficult. Now, do I feel like I have to give details of it? I could, but I also am in a place where I feel like it's not necessary. It's not necessary. I don't feel, you know how sometimes they say, you'll have a wound that's healing and you pull the scab off. I don't necessarily even feel that. I just don't feel I don't see the benefit of it. The parties involved, I don't feel the benefit of it. I see where they are, I see where their life is. And like I said, you know your truth, they know their truths as well. So I'm going to let them live with that. You take that wherever you're going to go, whatever you think is out here for you, whether you feel like it's a heaven, whether you feel like it's a hell, whatever it is that you feel. But I feel like life is going to deal with you the way that it needs to deal with you. You know what I mean? So that's why I chose to stay silent about certain things. Now, there's some things that I'm very loud and boisterous about, and
Mm-hmm.
that's important too. So, do you guys feel like some things? You guys let us know. Like, put some yes or something in the comments, or you can relate. Let us know. Do you feel like there are some things that, quite honestly, we could stay silent about them?
Oh, okay. Les says, Les echoes. What's up, Les? Les says, let's be honest and address one of the elephants. As Black professionals, business owners, and people in a white dominated world, we silence ourselves in some capacity every day for the mediocre people who don't match up to us. Ooh, that's
Wow,
good. Yeah.
perfect, perfect example.
Ooh, yes,
In
indeed.
professional lanes, we are silent every day about certain little microaggressions willed in our way by people who just don't level up. And then we have to, we just got to be quiet about it. We got to do what we got to do. They don't match up. Wow, man.
That
Now
was good.
that is a truth. That's a
Yes.
truth.
And Latif says, I believe silence holds a power that can help or harm. Sometimes silence is necessary. And I totally agree. And
I
in my
like.
case, yeah, and in my case, I was gonna say in regards to that, sometimes silence, when she said it could help or harm,
Mhm,
in some cases, like my case, when I chose silence, I was actually harming myself by being silent. So
mhm,
I felt that with every I felt that comment.
mhm. I do. I do. I hear that a lot. Like I said, there's so many things. We've got so many conversation starters with what's going on in the industry that I like that it's allowing us to have these conversations. Are you aware of some of the things going on with Kurt Franklin and his father? Him finding out so late in
Yes.
life who his father
Yes.
was?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay,
Woo! That story right there touched my heart. Oh my God.
right. Now, his mother, like
Mm,
I'm watching all angles of the story, but I'm watching his mother's angle as well.
mhm,
She is a tough cookie, a tough
mhm,
nut to
mhm.
crack. Like she is standing in what she says is her truth. Now, the truth has been revealed scientifically,
Right.
right?
Right.
However, she is standing in what she has made herself believe is the truth. Because I mean, and it's a lie.
Mhm, mhm,
It's a lie. And her silence,
mm.
so I was trying to think of something of how we could relate to Latif's comment where she said that she said, I believe silence holds a power that can help or harm. So sometimes silence is necessary. And so I feel like Kurt's mother, and this probably happened. Let's take it off of Kurt's mother. Let's just go into saying, okay, well, we know that there are mothers who sometimes are just not honest about the paternity of their children's father. All right, so
Mhm.
let's generalize it because I feel
Yeah.
like I'll better be able to generalize it. So we know that to be true, and we don't know what made them decide to do that, right?
Yeah.
So by them being silent and holding that truth from their kid, is it helpful? Is it harmful? Why did she choose that silence? Was it an act of some type of violence towards her? Is this kid a product of some type of violence or because why? I would ask myself, like, why would a mother not tell her child who their father is or allow their kid to know that? Regardless of what his lifestyle may be, regardless of how he may be in the picture, but allow them that opportunity of knowing, okay, yes, this is your father. But when I
Mhm.
watch how this lady was in such denial, I was like, well, how incredibly hurt was she, or was she hurt? And is this a case in some of those instances? So yeah, I kind of went off on a tangent on that. But you hear what I'm saying?
Yes. When I watched it now, I did watch that documentary. And when I watched that documentary, I was like, she how they call it, Dana? DNA don't lie.
DNA don't lie.
It does not lie. And oh my goodness. I want to know the root of why. I'm curious to know. And Jamesa said, what's up, Jamesa? Jamesa says those truths withheld is to me harmful. Yes,
It
definitely.
it seems so. It seems so. But
Mhm,
something when you watch that story and you watch that lady,
mhm.
something's going on there. This
Yeah.
is this is not just about the father. Something is going on with her, and it has damaged her.
Mhm,
Now, by Kurt bringing his truth out in a public way,
mhm.
because okay, did he have to bring that out publicly?
No, he didn't.
He didn't, because he knows that his mother is standing in her, what her harm or hurt, or she's hurt. Let's just call it what it is. She's standing in all of that hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And she's in turn hurt him by not telling him. And then he tells the truth and broadcasts the truth in a way that is not really necessary. We really didn't have to know that truth. So in that case, the level of how he shared his truth wasn't necessary. That could have been a silence. And that would have been a silence that we could understand. He didn't have to share that with us. You agree?
Hmm.
I mean, you don't
Well,
have to agree, but what are your
no,
thoughts?
to an extent, because in his case, there were so many people that could relate to his story.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it was by sharing that truth that helped a lot of us understand. Because he also had an album coming out, and I think the name of the album is Father's Day, or something like that. But by him sharing that truth, it helped us understand why he named the album Father's Day. So from that point of view, and being in the media world and keeping up with the music, because I'm in the music side of things, I
Mm-hmm.
think it was necessary for him to share that truth in order for us to get a clear understanding. And then there were so many people out there that could relate to his story. And by him sharing his truth, he also, like, by him being lied to about who his father was, he was mad at a man that was not even his father.
Mm-hmm.
And that man went to his grave with Kurt being mad, and he was mad at the wrong person. He shared his anger with the wrong person. And then by him sharing his story, him and his real father, biological father, and finding out the truth. And the crazy thing about it, how they found out the truth, people talking. And people are always talking, but
Right.
those conversations, just you overhearing a conversation, that's
Right.
how he was able to find the truth. So I think in that case, I feel like it was necessary. And I feel like there are so many people that related to his story that they can now heal. He's given them, they're inspired by his story, and they're able allowing themselves to heal from it. Because I listened to an interview he did with, I think it was Sway, if I think that's the guy's name.
Mm-hmm.
But someone had called in the radio station, and this young lady just broke down, because it was her story was similar to what Kurt went through, and she was lied to as well, and their parent is still standing on that lie as well. But she broke down, but she said that now, by him sharing his story, and he's not holding any malice or hatred or anything, she can allow herself to heal, because she was holding on and standing in the hurt. So in
Right.
that case, I think it was necessary, because there's so many people. Not only will he have to continue to heal, but he was able to allow other people to start some healing as well. Now, it's maybe a long process for some. It may not take long for some, but like, I actually shared the story. I shared the documentary with my son, and he's not actually to the point where he can, everybody's not there where they can totally forgive. Everyone is not there, and you can't expect everybody to be where you are, your headspace. So I have to allow myself time to let him process things, and get him, let him go through what he needs to go through, because my son is only
Right.
18, so he's
Right.
not going to be where I am mentally. I'm in my late 40s, so I can't
Right.
expect him to be there. But I shared it with him, and he was like, "Oh, okay." And
Wow.
he was like, but I still feel how I feel. But
I got you. I
I
got you.
gotta let
But
him, gotta let him go through his process. But I
respect.
think it was necessary.
I got you. So here's what I want to say.
Mhm,
Um, in respect to having these type of conversations that we're having right now, and that's
mhm,
really why, I feel like doing these type of podcasts and digging deeper into the story rather than just the story itself. I feel
mhm,
like it's important because you do get to hear different points of view. You get to hear how people are dealing with things. And so that might be able to help you in some way. Other than
mhm,
that, I wouldn't even be motivated to necessarily talk about it. What I do want to ask you guys to do is, I see you out here watching. Go ahead and hit the like button. Let's get the likes up. We got to get the likes up with the people who are watching. Just take a minute to hit the like. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe. Make sure that you let people know that we are having good conversations here and that we want to continue to do that. I see we got some more comments coming in.
And I do not want to mispronounce your name. Is that Salio? I'm gonna just say Miss Myers. Miss Myers says, yes, I do believe that we don't have to talk about everything with the public. Everyone doesn't need to know everything. And you know what? That comes with maturity. Because let me tell y'all, when I took back in 2016, I took a break from social media. But back in 2016, I was so hurt that I posted a lot of stuff. I posted a lot of my feelings on social media. And even if I didn't blatantly say who it was, you can figure out who I was talking about. I was bad at sending subliminal messages. But now I'm in a headspace where I'm mature, where I don't have to I don't have to share everything with the public. But I ain't
Right.
gonna lie, back then, I was gonna come for you. Jamesa says, I'd be angry with my mother. Lies are never good, just like secrets.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Now you
Yeah.
know our culture got a lot of family secrets, and and
Mhm.
and, and really a lot of them family secrets they ain't nothing but some lies.
Right.
The same
Leticia.
lies we talking about right now.
Yeah, Leticia says, my mother passed away when I was 14, and I was then able to meet my dad. I often longed for him and didn't know why until I met him. I needed him so I can relate. Ooh, wow. That's
Right,
good.
right, 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 right.
Mm.
Woo.
Leticia is
Yeah.
right. That's good.
Yeah, it happens. So that's why I say, so I'll go back and I gotta agree with you here where you say, well, because I felt like Kurt and his mother, he could have dealt with that in the privacy of their family, but he chose to share that. Like you said, he had an album that was coming out that
Mhm.
referenced to a lot of things. So it makes me say, well, were you doing that for promotion? Like, was that promotion or, but, it's deeper than that. But because it is his truth. And what we're talking about is, are we going to share our truth or are we going to stay silent? And he
Mhm.
chose to, he chose to share and speak his truth. So, we've got to respect that. And people have just been kicking the door open. I feel like this whole year, and it seems like we're going into an age, we're living in a time where people are just like tired of the misrepresentation of things. People are just open more to talk more. And we have to naturally know that this might happen. And I
Mhm.
feel like this is a result of us having been on social media and feeling like we know everybody and feeling like we know their truths for what they're sharing. And so people are just a lot more open. People don't have shame anymore. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And is there going to be some backlash to that? What is your thought on that?
Definitely, there'll be some black backlash. I feel like 2024 has been such a year of exposure or people trying to expose people. But my take on that basically, there is definitely going to be some backlash. Now, I will say this, in regards to the Cat Williams interview, you can look at it from many ways. Him telling his, speaking his truth, him exposing people, but you also got to look at it from a perspective. Everyone that he mentioned, that was actually you giving them promotion advertising by even bringing their name up. But what I want people to understand that even though he said what he said and he's standing on what he said, if you look at a person a certain way, I'm always been that type of person. I'm not going to change my perspective on a person if I haven't had that experience. So I can hear what you're saying, but I'm not going to feed into it unless I experience certain things from people or whatever. But like I said, it goes back to speaking the truth. Is what I'm saying? It's all about speaking truth when you start speaking out like that. So I actually think there's going to be some backlash, there has been some backlash. There have been some comedians that have came back out and said, and I feel like you could tell. No, let me not say that. I ain't gonna say certain
Go
things.
ahead and speak. Oh, so you choosing to stay silent.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay silent. Let me
You can
just
speak
hush.
your truth, girl. Speak your truth.
I'll just say this. A lot of times, like when people say things or speak their truth, and like when you coming back to defend yourself, a lot of times I feel like when you defensive, a lot of times you defensive, there's some truth to it. That's all I'll
Right.
say.
I mean, you have to defend yourself for a reason.
Yeah. So I'm just like,
I
okay.
can feel that. I can feel that. Well, listen, we are at no shortage of drama in people's personal lives that I really didn't care to know about. And as if, I go back to that comment that Les made, and it just hit so hard, like how, you know, we silence ourselves almost on a daily basis because there's things that we will not say to a coworker, to a boss, and we just keep that inside because you need to keep your job. You know, you
I've been in
need to
that.
be
Oh my
able to
God,
keep your job.
I've been in that situation. Yeah,
If
I've
you
been in
t-
that situation. Yeah.
so in that case, the truth becomes dangerous for you.
Let me tell you, when I went through that situation where when you're being silent, to keep your job, in my case, it started affecting my body where I got physically sick and end up losing job anyway
Hmm.
because I got sick.
Hmm.
I held a lot in and it affected my body. And I had to end up losing that job
Yeah,
anyway because I got sick.
to save your to save yourself. Your body was like, "Girl, we got to go."
Latif says, I agree. Truth will always shed light on lies. Absolutely. And Latif says, I really appreciate this conversation, ladies. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you having a conversation with us. This is our conversation, so thank you for joining us in here today. Make sure that you guys bring these. I gotta let you know. Gotta bring these likes up. Gotta bring the likes up. I see a lot more people watching than we see the likes. It's not matching. Go ahead and hit the like. Hit that like button. It's not taking you that much time to just go ahead and bloop hit that
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Hey, let's tell the truth about that. Some people scared to hit that like button. You know why? Because they don't want people to know they watching.
That's what it is.
They don't want people to know they watching. They can't hit the like. You know you don't like Miss Tonya. You up here watching my podcast. You know you don't like it. Okay? You on here trying to see what you can do, trying to see what
Oh
she's
my
doing, trying to get some tips, trying to see how Tonya and Tori do that thing. Ooh, look at how they do that graphics. What they using? Go ahead. You can't hit the like. You can't hit it. I saw somebody just click off, and we can see the numbers. I see when you come on. I see when you go off. Yeah, I stepped on your toe.
oh my goodness, Tanya. No.
I was just sharing a little bit of my truth. You think I should have stayed silent on that one?
You know what?
I I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Latif,
Oh,
you showed that
oh,
one
I
already.
saw that one over. Yeah, we did that.
Go back to my
But
cousin
really,
Doretha. My
really,
cousin Doretha, she says, "Hey, ladies, I just remembered that y'all was coming on, but I'm still here. What's up, cousin? Thank you so much for joining us. What's up?" Latif says, "Tell the truth."
it's true though. It's a lot. It's people out here. Listen,
Oh
Latisse,
goodness.
it's people out here who don't like Miss Tanya, but they be watching the podcast. They do, and I know who they are.
Oh my goodness, Lord,
I
Tanya.
know who they are. Don't hit that like button. But they also know I don't care because they know that girl be eating still.
Tanya.
I don't have to do some of the things that they do. Like Les talked about. They
Yeah.
be in spaces and places where they have to conform. I can say whatever at any moment that I feel like letting this mouth loose. I can. Cause guess
Oh
what?
my
I ain't
goodness.
gonna fire myself.
Mm.
And you don't work for yourself.
Oh
And
goodness,
that's the
Lord.
truth. Come on, brother Fatim.
What's up, Fatine? Brother Fatine said, that's what I will not allow, which I've allowed in the past. I will always speak my truth and be tactful about it. But I'm not having a heart attack or stroke because they're holding things in instead of expressing yourself. Yeah, Fatine.
That's true, Brother Fatine. That's
Yeah.
really true. But I want you to think about this because you always have very thoughtful comments. You know, I love the space that you come from. And I want to ask you, are there times where staying silent really could be the best thing?
That's a good question.
I would like to know because I want to
Mm,
know. I
mm.
want to know. Latisse, I see that. Yes. Latisse. Latisse, I don't need a whole lot of help to start acting up, but you seem like you're on my side right now.
Latice, Latice, listen, listen. She gonna start up again, Latice. Tanya the one. Tanya know I'm gonna be the one that's like. Tanya gonna tell you later. She don't care. She really don't care.
But you know what? We making jokes right now, but I really do care. I really do. Do you know, like, we having fun right now, and
Mhm.
you know, I like to have fun, but the amount of things that I don't say, and some of
Yeah.
those same people who are out here that it sounds like I'm borderline calling out, the things that I haven't told you about them, the things that they've done dirty, like there's always I can understand, Kat.
Mhm.
I've known people who've done some things that were, behind the back, you
Mhm.
know, especially when you live in a small town, it doesn't take that much for information to get back around. So you don't have to be famous. This doesn't have to be a thing about fame. Just living in a small town, our
Right.
local community, there's things that you're going to know about people and
Mhm.
they get back to you.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
say anything to them. I just allow
Mhm.
them to keep coming right back in my face and smiling and pretending like I don't know. Because the thing for me that I find incredible when people do things that they know are not right, and I'll go back to this,
Mhm.
they know that they did it.
Right. They do.
They know it.
Mhm.
So if you know that you've done that, right?
Mhm.
And then you still have to come and you have to see me, you don't have to speak. We don't have to be cordial because I don't feel motivated necessarily, but they go out of their way to act like they like me. And you know why they do that? Because they want to seem like they like me, how the people out here who really genuinely like me,
Mhm.
because I am good to people. It's just that they happen to be messed up and couldn't take advantage of me and they didn't like it. So they try to change the story and make something different. Yeah, there's been people who've taken, like, quote unquote, you could say ideas, but a lot of the times I don't get caught up into that because I say, well, no idea is really, really new. I'm not doing anything that hasn't necessarily been done, but I know that I've been ripped off by some people. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
the whole point of the matter is I let them live with that. I'd rather they walk with that. I don't have to
Mhm.
say nothing.
Not a thing. And Brother Fatima is answering your question. He says, yes, there are times that silence will benefit all parties. But if the problem becomes consistent, then you have to find a way to address and rectify the problem.
Right,
I agree. I
right,
agree.
right, 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 right. Because some of those deep rooted issues where people are traumatized, I understand why they're not saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why they're not bringing it back up, why they're not taking themselves through the story of that trauma anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Absolutely.
difficult, and it
Yep.
doesn't make you a weak person. I always find, or I always hope that people can find peace within themselves. And if sharing these stories help,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're here for. So that's why I keep asking, like, are there times when we can be silent? And the reason why I say that is because as we see people who are coming out and who are speaking their truth, and we've already, like, everybody has already claimed that 2024 is the reveal.
Mm-hmm.
The truth shall the truth shall come to the light.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine. But for those people who do not have that thick skin, who do not choose to speak out, we got to let them know that that's okay too. But deal with your issue. Get the
Mm-hmm.
help that you need. Talk to someone that you need to talk to. You know, there's professional help out here. As I spoke a little bit earlier, if you're just joining in, I talked about how I just recently read through some of my older diaries from like decades ago, and I came
Mm-hmm.
across an incident that was very traumatic for me. Very traumatic. And I haven't spoken on it, and I don't imagine that I will. The the part that I spoke out on is when I wrote it, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily walk in a life where it goes and plays over and over in my head or anything like that. I do feel that I have dealt with it. So, in that respect of staying silent, that's what I chose to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily because someone has a certain power over me. It's not because I'm fearful of the person or the party. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
That just happens to have been my choice. And another thing too that's incredible is I felt wronged by people who I felt like should come to me and talk to me about certain things, and they haven't.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also come to the place where, you know what? I've forgiven them because I
Mm-hmm.
realize that they don't have the strength to do it. So, I feel like that was an incredible lesson for me. So I can now understand that everybody doesn't want to talk. Talking for everybody is not going to work. Or maybe talking to the specific person that the incident is around.
Right, right.
You know, that
Because
just doesn't work for them. They don't know it. Like it'll probably obviously. This is my thing. Obviously, they're so hurt, and that is just going to break them down. So that could be a fear. But even if it isn't, if they found their own way of dealing with it, well, we have to respect people who choose to stay silent, and we still champion those who are speaking the truth. So there's strength in both.
right, because I feel like sometimes some things can be resolved by just having a conversation. And I feel like sometimes in some cases, I advise people to speak up when necessary because sometimes your silence could be possibly condoning a situation that you don't even necessarily agree with it. But because you're not speaking up about it, it's like you're condoning it. So in some cases, I feel like it's a necessary to speak up. But
Yeah,
like I said, in certain situations, I just, like, what's the point? And
and
just
that's
like you said, they have to deal with it on their own, and then you do the necessary healing for yourself.
mhm, mhm.
And I'm
That's
sorry, I
the
didn't mean to
that's
cut
the
you off.
tricky part. It's okay. I mean, this happens in real life conversations. It happens on the internet, but you know, you're not wrong.
Mhm.
You're not wrong. Both has its place. I feel like it's difficult to kind of have the conversation around it because it depends on what the situation is. There are going to be some things that you probably need to speak up about because it could save someone, and then there's some things that you could probably stay silent about because you know what I'm saying. I
Mhm.
don't want to weigh what someone's issue is, but both have a place.
Mhm.
Both have a place. We're talking speaking truth versus staying silent. There's times when you absolutely have to speak your truth, and there's times when you absolutely have to stay silent. Now, Jamaisa in here, she said, "You silly." Now, what you talking about now? Because I done said a whole lot of things. I go from silly to serious like in 0.2 seconds. So you got to remind me, girl. You got to remind me.
Oh my goodness. This was a great conversation.
It
This was
has been.
great. And it got me, and throughout this entire conversation, it made me rethink some situations and got me thinking about some things. But I
Hmm.
think in some cases, silence is key.
Yeah.
Silence is key. You don't have to speak on everything.
Hmm.
You don't have to speak on everything, but like I
You
said,
don't.
I can know something, I can know what you said, know what you did. I'm not gonna address it. Some things this is not worth addressing because sometimes when you address certain things, it's gonna go back and forth. I ain't got time for that. Let me just
Ain't
deal with what I need to deal with and just move on.
ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, I got time for the back and forth.
I
And
agree.
then, and what is the last comment that Latif says? She said, "I believe Jesus was the best example of when to speak and when not to." Ooh, that's good. That's
Now, what
good.
was the example?
There are a lot of examples.
Well, give me one.
Like for
Somebody,
example,
somebody, give me one. Like, I feel like that's a little so broad. I would like for us to have an example. I believe Jesus was the best example of when to speak and when not to speak. Like, what went on that he didn't speak about? Because if he didn't speak about, how we know?
well, there's so many that's popping in my head, but I want you said get them to give you an example. I want them to if you and Latisse give her an example because
Give
I
me
don't
an
want it just be
example.
me. Yeah, give an example of what or a couple of examples. There's several that come to mind.
Well, give me one of yours because here's and I'm not trying to be a smarty pants, but
Mhm.
if he didn't speak on it, then how we know?
Well, certain things that some it can get. The examples I got. We ain't got that kind of time. We only got 4 minutes. We ain't got that kind of time. It's like a
You can
deeper
make it quick.
conversation. Well,
Boom.
one of the examples was when he spoke when he turned over tables was when he spoke up, and then there was a time where he was hanging on the cross and he simply said the prayer, Lord, forgive them for they do not know what they do. So I keep it as simple as that. Those two
Okay.
examples of when he spoke and when he chose not to speak.
So what was the choose not to speak part?
When he was hanging on the cross, he chose to just talk directly to make say that prayer, Lord, forgive them for what they not forgive them.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Sometimes you got to help me out. I be somewhere else.
yeah, yeah. The wreath is okay. The replay button is always available, cuz
Yes,
always
ma'am.
available.
Make sure you
But
do that.
yeah, but there was some great examples. He definitely, yeah. Because that's what
Okay.
I used to. That was. I remember when I was in middle school, there was a bracelet that I would wear, and there's some people that still wear it, but I used to wear that bracelet that it had the WWJD. What would Jesus do?
Mhm.
And when I had that bracelet, I felt like I had to think before I speak, before I did certain things. So that's just how I live life now. Like some things, like I said, it's not worth addressing. Like for what?
Mhm.
Nah.
Mhm.
Mm-mm. Let people be who they gonna be, and
Let
let
them.
people like when people are slandering your name and talking about you. Let people believe. Let me tell you something. When you don't speak on it, and people will like say somebody's slandering your name, and they believe in what they're saying, and you know for yourself that it's not true, but you pay attention to dudes who are believing it when you know it ain't true. Because let me tell you a quick story situation where there was a young lady that told another young lady, well, Tori said this, you said this, and that, and the third. And she said, I listened to everything that you had supposedly said. And she said, oh, okay. All right. And so she came to me, and now she didn't say anything to the person that was telling her. I supposedly said these things. She said, oh, okay. Okay, that's what's up. So she came to me. She said, Tori, this person said you said this and you said that. But she said, I know you didn't say it because I know your character. And I said, I didn't say it. And
Mhm.
Oscar Wilde, here's a quote. The truth is rarely pure and never simple. That is so true.
Woo.
Wow. Mhm. People
Well,
will
that
know your
was a
character.
that was a whole listen. You right. You right.
Yeah.
The truth is rarely pure and
Mhm.
never simple.
Yeah.
And I think not only our conversation has
Mhm.
exposed that. I mean, that's something that we all know.
Mhm.
And when we think back to the interview with Cat Williams,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah.
whether it was pure or not, it definitely wasn't simple.
Not at
We can
all.
apply when we think about Kurt Franklin's situation.
Mhm.
Certainly isn't simple.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can just keep applying that. Just apply that everywhere that you feel like you're looking, and apply that within your own life. You
Mhm.
know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, y'all.
And Jamesa said, I'm looking at Jamesa's comment. Jamesa says, nope, you should have said it. Was that for me?
I,
I'm like, Tonya, I don't remember. Was it something I was supposed to say?
I don't know.
Or something
Don't
I should have said?
don't have me on here lying that we up here talking about the truth. I don't know. It happens. But I got to give some love to everybody who joined us in here today. Big shout out to each and every one of you. I want to call your name. Thank you, Kimberly, for being in here with us. Thank you, Kelly, Mr. Pettyville Bosick, for being in here with us. Taniko, thank you for being in here. Fran, all the way in San Diego. Latisse, thank you for dropping through. Les Eccles dropped a true gem on us. Thank you so much. And I want to thank Miss Myers, Salil. Thank you for coming in. Jamesa, always great to have you here with us. Always, always. Dorothea, thank you so much. Thank you, Brother Fatim. Always love having you and your thoughtful comments in the conversation. Tori, that's what we had here today.
And listen, show, yeah. Doretha says, here, seers are always gossiping to whoever will feed into their conversation. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, I felt that in my spirit. Ooh, I felt that. That is so true. That is so true. Well, I know how Tonya is about time. So let me just give my final thoughts. My final thoughts is if you're going to speak out, always speak in truth, because the truth never changes. And if you choose to be silent, make sure that your silence is not hurting you and causing you to have health issues like it did me. And that's all I gotta say. And I see you, Brother Fatim. We love you too. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. Peace out, y'all.
All right, Tori. Always good to talk to you. I look forward to talking out Tuesdays.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. We had a whole conversation, and I hope you take this conversation off of here. Take this conversation to your dinner table. Take it to your loved ones, your close people, you know. You need to. There's some conversations that you need to have. And then maybe not. Maybe sometimes silence is the way. But I tell you what is true. It's time for some of us to get back to work because the lunch break is over. And before we get back into it, I want us to do that breath work that we need to do. We want to go back and we want to feel at a peace. Get into your good space so that you can enjoy the rest of this day. Be safe out here. We've got storms going up and down the East Coast, so make sure that you're safe. All right? Pay attention. Don't drive in settled water and you can't tell how deep it is. Let's not do some of those things that we know we shouldn't be doing out here. Please be safe. Now let's get into this breath work. Let's do some breath work. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold a few seconds. Exhale. And hold that a few seconds. Inhale one more time. Hold a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. And don't you feel great? I feel great. I appreciate you guys. And if nobody gave you a smile today, if nobody smiled today, you just close your eyes and give yourself a big smile and see how that feels for you. All right? Y'all be great out here. That's what we do. One love, y'all.